What is up? What is up? I am early actually for once. um, the weather's been nasty here, and I couldn't do much for work, so I figured I'd do an afternoon stream instead of a late nighter, and see how that goes. See if I can get some more people in the chat. So anyway, got a really good show. We're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, and one of my favorite people to talk about. Gary Melton from Paramount Tactical and the exploding microphone theory. He has quote unquote debunked that theory again. And it was just, I don't know, probably one day last week. So I saw it, thought it was great. And I had to get on here and talk about it. So I know probably most of y'all haven't seen it because probably most of y'all don't watch him, but I figured I would bring that to y'all. We'd talk about it, at least give you an idea of what other people are hearing from the likes of him. At least maybe you can kind of be a little more understanding when you talk to people that don't know what's going on. So anyway, let me pull that up here real fast, and we will get started with the video from Mr. Gary. And then we will stop and talk about it. And I've got some clips and photos to show also. So, all right, here we go. All right, let's see what Mr. Gary, the professional, has to say about this theory.
Now, all right. And just to give you, this video was from Jesse on Fire, and it's months and months old. It's probably from 4 months ago. It was probably 2-3 weeks after, if it was that long. Might have been days after Charlie Kirk was actually killed.
Here's what we're looking at. He gets hit right here, and I freeze frame the first moment.
All right, so you see this deformation take place.
That it hits him, and you can see right there, it blows backwards.
Now, according to the microphone theory, that deformation that he is referring to is so just according to regular old physics, if and when you have an explosion like that, especially when it would be contained by the t-shirt, those gases will be having to escape, and when they escape, obviously they're going to come out where they can. And I believe, like others, that is exactly what that deformation, like he's talking about, comes from. So I'm of the belief that would be the gases escaping from the explosion.
Okay. Now we're going to look at that again.
Now, in this, as we slow this down or kind of move this back, at some point in here, you can actually, there we go. We see the necklace breaking. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I think that is and what's happening here in just a moment. But you can see it from here start flying through the air.
Okay.
All right. It whips around. And ultimately, I mean, this necklace is about 30 inches long or so. And it ends up draping down. It's actually hanging onto the collar of his shirt, and then it drapes down his left side. And there are plenty of images of that you can find.
Now we're going to look at that again, because I think that is the most definitive thing that we've seen in terms of the direction. To me, it seems very clear that the shot came from the front, because again, and his shirt blows backwards. And take a look again, and you see the way that his body reacts. Boom, right? It gets hit right there. And then there you go. The shiver goes up. To me, this appears to indicate that he was shot from the front here.
All right. So just so we're clear on this too, Jesse on Fire, as far as I understand, and if I'm misinterpreting or mischaracterizing what he currently believes, I will apologize right now. That's not my intention. As far as I understand, what he's now putting out is the fact that he believes that Charlie Kirk is still alive. So he's moving.
And yes, that is absolutely his working theory right now. I do not subscribe to that at all, but yes, that is that's what Jesse on Fire is going with now. So yeah, he's correct on that.
Moved from that. I don't have a problem with that. Now, a lot of other people are going back to this exploding mic theory. We have a lot of people pushing this. Everybody from
I'm not going back to it. I've been there for a while now.
Aaron Coleman, obviously, Blake Bednar's, John Bray was kind of, I don't know. He's kind of
All very intelligent individuals, just for the record.
refined this entire theory. I recommend that you go listen to all of those things and listen to it for yourself and figure out if you believe that any of that makes sense. But what I can tell you, folks, is the reason from a physics standpoint this doesn't make sense is because from the front, we see nothing happening with this device. Now, going back to either which of these theories that you're going to buy into, whether this is exploding or we're saying that this is some sort of shape charge that projects some sort of projectile toward Charlie Kirk's neck and hits him.
So first of all, a shape charge, the object or the purpose of a shape charge is not to propel a separate object out. A shape charge is just exactly what it says. It's just shaped in such a way as to direct that energy in a particular direction. And so there's no projectile involved. It just when it goes off, it forces all that energy in a particular direction. So yeah, no projectile necessary.
In the neck. So it's sitting over here somewhere and hits him over here. But yet we see all that energy transfer rearward. That doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense whatsoever. And on top of this, no matter what, this is being held on with this.
So I want to know why he thinks that doesn't make sense when he says the energy is being directed, backward. Because with it being, all right, so if it's on here and it is intended to mimic a shot from a rifle, that would mean that the charge would be faced and shaped to go in to him or back. And so I would think it by necessity, when this charge goes off, yes, the energy would be going towards him that way. I mean, so I don't understand why he says that doesn't make sense, because that is exactly which direction you would expect to see that energy, transferring, moving. So I'm not sure on that one. I don't know what he's getting at.
Pretty weak magnet. All right. So just so we're clear, this is essentially what we have. We got a t-shirt, we got the device right there, and this is holding this into place. And long after the shot goes off, it is still in place. It is still holding. This is a very weak magnet. So if we had equal and opposite reaction, so if it was actually shooting something, whether it was a CO2, which still in my mind doesn't generate enough force to actually kill a person, or if we're talking about some sort of shape charge or anything else, there are no burn marks. There is no tearing of the shirt whatsoever. Like, none of that from a physics standpoint can be explained just using basic Newtonian physics. So,
okay, so that's where he's wrong. And I don't know whether that's intentional or just because he doesn't know, but I would think that he should know. All right, so yes, he's correct. You have the magnet on the outside, and then you have the back of the microphone, which is going to be metal, and they're going to stick together. There's going to be a shirt in between. Now, then you have the body of the microphone. So the shape charge is designed to take all that energy and direct it towards the body. So, again, by necessity, for it to direct all of that energy towards Charlie, it would have to prevent any energy from coming out away from Charlie. Now, yes, there's going to be an equal and opposite amount of, reaction. So that means, yes, there will be like a recoil where the whole body of the microphone will push away, but there shouldn't be any destructive force coming through that side of the microphone. All of its energy should be should be directed towards the body. So that's kind of, to me, that doesn't make sense. That's not a valid point, because when it directs all that energy forward, why would it separate the magnet? I mean, you have the back of the microphone, and as long as that energy isn't coming through that direction, what would blow the magnet off? Like, I would expect for the magnet to still be stuck on there.
Like, I can't stress how ridiculous I find this entire theory. And
I can't stress how ridiculous I find that he can't understand this.
again, there's a reason why they're bringing on experts in explosives to discuss this, because it's going to fall apart once they do that, and they got to keep the grip alive. Now, I would be remiss not to show you guys a response, and I want to
This guy's full of shit, by the way, just in case anybody don't know.
respond to the response that I had in the.
Here's what we're looking at. He gets hit right here.
And it's this one right here. All right, Jordan Henshaw, who I have no idea who this is. Jordan, you're welcome to come on. We can talk about this if you'd like. It's rapid acceleration to the back of the neck where the necklace rests. He was quoting me. Really? If that were factually correct, the necklace would no longer be resting on the back of the neck 66 milliseconds into the event, as shown below. All right, it's already moved. And what I'm telling you is I think this is already rebounded, because what's happening with this is the neck is expanding so quickly. So we have the back of the necklace sitting back here. And what happens is the back of that necklace, we have the cross pendant hanging in front of us. The back of the necklace gets accelerated rearward quickly, just like you would see in Newton's cradle. That impact hits the spine moves backwards, it accelerates to the back of that. And now we have the front of that necklace with the cross pendant going upward, creating the anomaly that we see in the front of his shirt. His t-shirt goes all the way to his left ear. So this is a lot of force with a lot of acceleration. It goes upwards. Somewhere in there, I do think it breaks at the clasp. And then we end up seeing that probably near where the pendant is, just the weight of that pendant. It breaks. We have that entire piece of that necklace fly off. Because it's right at the clasp, I think that's actually holding on to the pendant itself. So that side of the necklace can't slide through. And this is all speculation, folks, going off that. But
There's a lot of speculation in that. You see how hard it is to explain straight up bullshit. God almighty.
it's hanging on to something, and you can clearly see in multiple pictures that cross is at the very top of his neckline with the rest of the free running end of the necklace actually hanging downward, like 2.5, 3 feet. I mean, it's a pretty long necklace. So that's what's going on with that. Now, going back to what he's saying, so that we give him a...
Is everybody all clear on that? I mean, he said that's what's going on with that. So just wanted to pause there and make sure everybody's clear and on the same page.
Fair shot on this. He says further tests done by Range Day Bro and Peak Prosperity prove that real cavitation breaks the necklace in the back of the neck, and the chain falls down and forward into the lap. On Charlie, however, the chain breaks the pendant and flies upwards and back. Blender simulations confirm this. The only known way to create that, what we see on Charlie Kirk, is to put 2 large bursts of air under the front of the shirt and the back of the shirt. One is CO2 pendant gun designed to cut the prosthetic on the front, succeeded, and the second is a conventional underclothing squib meant to produce the exit wound, failed. So I guess
and that's where Jordan loses me. I'm sorry. He's another one that claims that this was all Hollywood, that it wasn't real blood and he's still alive somewhere, and that's just not, I don't think that's accurate. So I just throwing that out there. Didn't want you to think that was the direction that I'm going with this.
He, in this instance, is basically saying that, hey, this was all faked. This is not real. And that's what he's going with. Here's my problem with what he's proposing. Range Day Bro and Peak Prosperity did not have, there's no way to create the dynamics of what were taking place. And people that are material engineers that do material testing, I think, would understand this. We need to have somebody on to talk more about this. But reproducing exactly what happened would require a number of factors that we just don't know. We'd have to have a body that's similar to Charlie's. We'd have to have a very similar or the exact same entry and points of impact, impacting the different types of anatomy that we actually saw with Charlie Kirk. And on top of that, we need the exact pendant in the necklace, which we don't have. How are you going to reproduce something when all the key elements you don't have definitives on? We don't know what that necklace was made of. We don't know how the clasp was engineered. We don't know how heavy or the type of exact pendant that we have. Like, you have to recreate all aspects of this to get something even close to a similar result.
And so, look, I agree that you need to do good, accurate tests, and you need to have things as, close to the, lifelike original to get a good, accurate test. But at the end of the day, what he is trying to do here is he is just trying to muddy the waters and basically discredit any testing that anybody is doing at home. Just blanket discrediting all of them, because at the end of the day, because they're not shooting into a live body, into a live human neck for their test. And short of doing that, Gary Melton is going to claim that the test is no good because it's not accurate. So, it's kind of disingenuous in my opinion. There are ways to get things, as close as possible. And I think there are ways to get some good, accurate testing, and somewhat reproduce the chain of events that happens. So, yeah, like I said, he's just trying to blanket discredit any testing that's going on in people's backyards. And I just don't agree with that.
And we don't have those things. So, that's where we're at.
Unless somebody shot into a living person neck, a 6'5" tall person, Gary Melton's not going to think that it's a legit test, basically.
With this. And I am curious to hear what some of you guys have to say. I see we got a couple of super chats already. We got Melinda and 1851 gifted 5 Paramount Tactical memberships. Thank you, Melinda. That's very good. Nice of you. And we got Jay Witt in the house. Grace and peace, praying toward the peanut butter and freedom toast. Thanks for tackling this topic, sir. You're welcome, buddy. So, again, this is, we're back to 4 months ago. That's what's crazy to me with all this is we're back to 4 months ago when this was first introduced, and it's still as ridiculous as ever, and it still doesn't make sense. And we haven't even gotten to the other elements of this. The other elements is the fact that we know that there was a supersonic event. We have a supersonic round that, without a doubt, crosses over people with cameras. We hear the boom, we hear the sonic crack, and then we hear a boom that originates toward where the Lossy Center actually was. And the idea that we're timing all this stuff up, and then we have the idea that we have this patsy on top of the roof, and this is the other part of this. To pull this off and to go through all the trouble of creating a patsy, like, why? This if you're going to kill someone with some sort of spy gadget, which is what we're talking about, some theoretical spy gadget that we've shoved some patent inside of this, and or some C4 or whatever other explosives you're going to put in this, and create a weaponized wireless microphone, which is what they're talking about. That will be easily proven that he wasn't shot. Like, why would they do that? And then to be able to cover that up, like, so many people would have to be involved. At this point in time, you'd have to have everybody involved in state, local, and federal law enforcement. The forensics labs would have to be involved. Look, the defense attorneys are going to get access to all of this information, the ballistics reports. You'd have to fake so many other elements of this, never mind eyewitnesses, and never mind having the balls to try to explode a mic on somebody and sell it as a gunshot wound to people that are 8 to 10 feet away in front of a crowd of 3,000 people, where every single one of those people out there have a cell phone and have a video of what's taking place. Like, doesn't make sense. It's one of the most ridiculous theories out there.
So, for starters, the neck wound, I feel like, was a very, very unintended, consequence. I think that was something that was not intended. And if it had gone according to plan, then he would have had a clean hole through his chest. And, it wouldn't have been that hard to prove. I don't think, I mean, look what they're keeping from us now. I mean, and look, when it comes down to it, the government, they can do what they want to. They don't have to. They could cover this up if they wanted to, and it would not be that hard. And it looks like right now that everybody just about was involved in it some way or another, and maybe not. But like I said, these shape charges, they are designed to basically mimic a gunshot wound. And I've got a video clip that I played in my last live that I did on this subject, and it'll kind of prove that. I'm gonna play it closer to the end, but no, it would not be hard to convince them that it was actually a gunshot. And why would you want to have a patsy if you were going to do something like this? Well, let's see. Can anybody think of who last used a method similar to this? Let's see, maybe some exploding pagers or radios. Who would that have been? Oh, so if it had obviously been an exploding Rode microphone, who would have been the first? If it had obviously been an exploding microphone, who would be the first person that people would look to? So that's the purpose for the patsy, because this was intended to look like a 30-06 wound to the chest. The neck was collateral damage.
Okay. Candy. I don't know what. This one just caught my attention. Roo says, I'm getting Candy some paint to huff and super glue for her birthday. She would probably be nicer to listen to. I couldn't agree more. We got Flame in the house. Flame, I always appreciate your commentary on X. If you guys aren't following Flame, make sure you guys go follow him. Gary, so do you follow the official narrative, lone shooter, no helper? Comments on the false flags, Patsy in the crowd. The guy cast first claim was a shooter, the guy championing USA. So let me think about this question. Do I buy into the lone shooter? I don't think I've ever bought into the lone shooter. I will say that we get into speculation on this, but what I've said from literally day one was I think that we need to look. There's some, all the experts that I've talked to, we have Tyler Robinson. I think Tyler Robinson shot him. I think it was with a 30-06. We still have ballistic reports to go through, and if something crazy comes out in those ballistic reports that would change my mind on this, I'm happy to change it. And that's what I tried to do from the very beginning, is be objective and open to wherever the evidence and the facts lead us. I have been very careful.
And he absolutely said many times at the beginning that he could not understand how it could be a shot from a 30-06, and said that over and over again. I mean, said it emphatically, and there has been nothing new that has come out since those original court documents that came out. There has been absolutely no new information that has come from official channels. And so what changed his mind? It's not because of, it's not because of facts or it's nothing coming from official channels.
To not buy into something one way or the other, which is why I had multiple people come on my show that believe completely opposite what I did. We've had people that believe that he was shot from the side, that there were other shooters involved. We have Blake Bednar's and other folks that believe that the exploding microphone, and none of it makes sense. And they can provide zero evidence to support any of those. And that's what has to guide us with all this stuff. Look, folks, I agree with you that we shouldn't trust the government on its face. But I also think that we sure as hell shouldn't trust YouTubers and social media personalities on the face. As they all, look, one thing that you can go back with Charlie Kirk, like there's nothing that you could do to convince, and it's going to take longer and more effort to fix later on down the road, even if we win the White House in 2020. I think you've lost it when you gave up on body armor. There's no way he wasn't. Different plausible explanation. All right, look, 1,000 different variables at play there. The projectile, the type of ammunition, Mexico. We have President Scheinbaum. The reason these nope, doing this exact same thing. If there's anybody out there that's interested in discussing becoming or doing some producer work for me in the amphitheater at the Utah Valley University, there are 3,000 people watching. He's doing the American Comeback Tour, which is basically his high wire act of debating sleep-deprived college kids about the most radioactive topics on the planet. I'm gonna skip a little bit here. Then a single bullet hits him in the neck, fired from approximately 142 yards away from the rooftop of the Lossie Center. Kirk is taken to the hospital. He's pronounced dead. He was 31 years old. Shooting happened. Robinson left a handwritten note. The group started posting about when investigators later contemplate suicide over something he didn't do. I'm still exploring legal. All right, we've already looked into. Well, let me. And Colin, if you're still here's the problem, Colin. Of course, was extremely wrong, and I wouldn't share anything that Ryan Meta does. But I kept this, and all I was doing to push this nonsense. I'm like, I don't know what's going on with Israel, but what I can tell you for sure is I'm not on your side because you're a dishonest piece of garbage. That's the way that I feel about this. Via a DM. Number one, I was trying to get additional information from the source, trying to get questions answered, and then he had me come on the show, and things went from there. But it was never once have I ever been paid by TPUSA, which is something that Colin has continued to push. Candace Owens has continued to say. She said I was hired directly by Eric Kirk, among others. And it is just a smear campaign to undermine my credibility because I won't agree with them. Just like when they say, "Oh, you're paid by Israel," like what are you talking about? Just because I say, "Hey, I don't think Israel was involved in this," because the evidence doesn't suggest that. Now I'm paid by Israel. Now I have, I'm a traitor to my own country, and I'm putting Israel first. Like I'm so sick of this trope about Zionism and all the other nonsense that goes on. I've been so indifferent to Israel. I'll tell you, I am more on Israel's side than I've ever been before at this point, just because I see the people that continue to push this nonsense. I'm like, I don't know.
He just said it. There it is. He just said it. So obviously this guy does not believe in motive because whether there has been any hard evidence such as forensics or what have you to actually point the finger to them. One of the big things that goes into a murder investigation always is motive. That is one of the things that has to be proven out in a case is motive. And if you take a step back and look at all the different people that would have motive, who is the number one that would have motive?
Know what's going on with Israel, but what I can tell you for sure is I'm not on your side because you're a dishonest piece of garbage. That's the way that I feel about this. Like I never thought we'd be in the spot where we are with all this stuff. It blows my mind with your original theory, which I think you thought Charlie Kirk was shot from the vehicle behind him, if I remember correctly. I think, generally speaking, I think you're operating in good faith. So that's impossible. And people were coming after me. Going back to like day 2 when I was saying, hey, you know what? It wasn't a palm gun. So they posted on September 11th, the day after Charlie was killed. And I point out the gray spot. Allegiance to China. How those things can be reconciled. One of those has to lose completely. I don't know how we move forward as a nation ultimately. And I hope that we can get back to, the Democrats of the 1980s where we had, because look through the comments of social media. I mean, I don't know, name the politician that you don't like. That is, we have the left. It's like, hey, you know what? Less than half the inflation. Call Candace Barron his farmer to destroy her.
Okay, you know what? He addresses it again in here, and he addresses it again in here. But I tell you what, it's too painful to go through to find it. I should have wrote down the timestamps, but I did not. That's okay. I'm going to go through a few things that I have of my own. So, and I wish to God I had put down the timestamps. Oh, yes, absolutely. John Bray is he's the shit. He is really, really good. And this guy makes a fool of himself every time he gets in front of a camera. Absolutely. Yeah. And I don't know how I missed it in here, but yes, there's a point in here where he talks about how he's ex special forces and they did all the shape charges. He specialized in all that kind of stuff, but obviously not because, and there again, you know what? yeah, he probably does know that. I feel like a lot of times the shit that he says is intentional. So it's probably not that he doesn't understand how these things work. It's just that he's trying to push a particular narrative. So I really wish I had, really wish I'd went over this again and marked down all the timestamps, but it is what it is. It was last minute. Let's see.
The world is on fire. We're getting ready to go to war with Iran. We have that link. You can become a member. We appreciate that. Is why haven't these guys, not a single person pushing this theory, not a single one of them has had an explosives expert on to talk about it, to talk about the plausibility of it.
You know, I may not have gone back far enough.
And, you know, while I am not one, I don't put a lot of stock in AI, whether you're talking about Chat GPT or Grok or whatever else, there's lots of things that people try to use that for that it doesn't do a good job. Now, if you go to Grok or you go to Chat GPT, and especially Grok seems to be a little bit more aware of what's going on with this, and there's more information there on the exploding voices.
I'm sorry.
In a video. This is the magnet that goes on this to hold this in place. And you can see this magnet that goes with this device on the front of Charlie Kirk's shirt. I don't know, expose of Erica Kirk. You guys make it worthwhile, and it's good that we're in with, so it would be an inoperable mic. I don't buy into this component with that and make fun of her. And
sorry, guys. I should have backed it up a little bit further. This is part of what I was looking for, so we'll listen to this.
I point out the discrepancies as they take place. I will prioritize super chats like always. Folks, we appreciate you guys so much that support this channel, and for those of you that share our content and show up all the time and comment and do all the things, right? So make sure you like, subscribe. If you'd like to become a member and support us that way, down in the description below, you can go ahead and click that link. You can become a member. We appreciate that. And also make sure you're following us over on X. That's where a lot of these battles are fought in real time, and that's one of the things that we're going to be discussing today. So with the exploding mic theory, so right here, I have one of these Rode wireless mics. And right here, and I'll put up some pictures here in a second in the video. This is the magnet that goes on this to hold this in place. And you can see this magnet that goes with this device on the front of Charlie Kirk's shirt. The idea here is that he wasn't shot, and that there's some sort of explosives put into this microphone, which would render the mic useless, by the way. There's not much space in here to begin with, so it would be an inoperable mic. I don't buy into this theory for a number of reasons, and we'll discuss that. I think it's actually one of the most...
Okay. Did we hear that? He said that it would be an inoperable mic, right? That's what he said. So, about that, hold on, let's see here. All right. Come on, where's my refresh for me? Come on now. All right, let's see here. Well, my link not working. Oh, there we go. All right. Now let's see what we got. There we go. There we go. Okay. Let's see what ChatGPT said about it. No, ChatGPT probably doesn't know everything, but I wanted to find out. What it said. Anyway, this is talking about them being functional. You know, you just heard the man. He just said that it would be an inoperable microphone. So Charlie would know that it was, you know, that it was, he would know something was going on. So yes, in September 2024, Israeli-linked pager radio explosions targeting Hezbollah in Lebanon and Syria. The devices were designed to look and act like regular communications gear right up until they detonated. That's the best available reporting on how that attack worked. Key facts: the devices Pagers and handheld radios were distributed to Hezbollah members and affiliates as ordinary communication tools for receiving messages or coordinating activities. According to security investigation reporting, the devices were modified to contain a small explosive charge or mechanisms that remained hidden and inactive during normal use. Many of the pagers beeped or showed a message first, encouraging the user to pick them up just before the detonation, indicating their normal pager function was preserved until the moment of activation. Hezbollah did not detect the tampering even after subjecting some pagers to security scanners before distributing them, showing how the modifications were concealed. Now, that being said, Gary just claimed that you would that it wouldn't work, so he would know. Again, that's bullshit. So we just debunked that. We just debunked part of his debunking right there.
Easily disproven and most ridiculous theories out there when it comes to the conspiracy theories outside of the the official narrative. There's a number of reasons for that, and we're going to go through that. So that is the mic that they're saying. Now and here's the problem with some of this stuff, because they're always moving the goalpost on you. At first, it was just an explosive mic that, I don't know, killed Charlie Kirk. And then it went to, hey, this was like a shaped charge, and or it actually projected something that hit him to the neck. And there's some issues with that, and we're going to go through that and talk about the physics involved with that. Now, being in special operations, folks, I've spent a lot of time using explosives, making large charges to small charges, many different types of explosives out there. Spent a lot of time doing it. I understand what an explosion looks like, even a miniature explosion. We used to make little door charges that were just blockbusters, right? So we'd actually be able to put those inside smaller door locks, padlocks, things like that. There's nothing that I see that goes on with Charlie Kirk that even comes close to that. The other thing, and this theory is...
But we're talking about something that you would put into a door lock to explode the locking mechanism. That is one thing. But when we're talking about a miniaturized shape charge, God, I should have pulled that up. But AES, the company that had the government contract to manufacture these things, or something similar, they had on the contract that what they had listed on there what the use was for, and it said anti-personnel. It did not say anti-tank. It didn't say anti-door or anti-door locking mechanism. It said anti-personnel, which means that it was specifically intended to directly, direct contact with personnel or humans.
One of John Bray's, and you can add Blake Bednar's, we had him on to try to explain what was going on with all this stuff. I don't think he did that very successfully. But one thing that I think should be very obvious to all of you and suspicious to all of you is, why haven't these guys, not a single person pushing this theory, not a single one of them has had an explosive expert on to talk about it, to talk about the plausibility of it. And, while I am not one, I don't put a lot of stock in AI, whether you're talking about Chat GPT or Grok or whatever else. There's lots of things that people try to use that for that it doesn't do a good job. Now, if you go to Grok or
one thing about that, having the professional on, so yes, you can have an explosives expert on, and you might learn something, but unless you have an expert in miniature anti-personnel shape charges on, really, I don't think you're going to get the answers that you're looking for. You're going to get more of what this guy's saying. Like, you should have seen a ball of fire and some smoke.
you go to Chat GPT, and especially Grok seems to be a little bit more aware of what's going on with this, and there's more information there on the exploding mic theory. It will outline the physics challenges that it can observe and calculate with the idea that this little device is what killed Charlie Kirk. But I'm going to pull up a video, and this was kind of one of my responses today on this. Let's see. And we're going to watch what actually took place with Charlie Kirk and I got to be very careful. There's a whole bunch of other videos I'd like to share with you guys that'll just get yanked on YouTube for sure. But here's my X. Again, folks, if you're not following us on X, make sure you do that. Now, this person that I responded to, who I'm pretty sure was a sock bot.
Okay, we're back to where we started from. I'm going to pull up some of this stuff I've got, and we'll go from there. I'm going to start with the pagers and radios, and I want you to notice that. And this is not even these miniaturized anti-personnel shape charges. These were literally just small explosives, and even these, you don't see like a huge ball of fire. Yes, you might see a little smoke, but I'm just proving the point that even something like this that was not designed to be concealed and to, I've never heard anything said about them being shape charges. They were literally just an explosive, which means a radial explosion explodes in every direction. So I'm gonna play a couple of these clips real quick. Here we go. Wish I could have found a better clip. That one's not that good, but it is literally the only one I can find of this particular one. I'm gonna pull up another one here. Okay, so honestly, yes, that is a bit dramatic, but nobody's claiming that is exactly what was used on Charlie Kirk. But even then, you didn't see a ball of fire. You didn't see. Yes, it was a bit dramatic, but I don't think that was exactly the type of charge that was used. So I'm going to show you some pictures. Let's see here. All right, check this out. This is the Rode microphone that Charlie was wearing. And I want you to notice here this drone. And you can see how those are, damn near the same size. Very, very close. Got one more here. Here's another one. Look at how that compares to this drone in his hand. Actually, that drone appears to be a little bit smaller than that microphone. Now,
is 3 grams of shaped.
Okay. According to John Bray's calculations, it would have taken about 2 grams of the explosive to be deadly, to do what it needed to do. So this little drone right here, it's an AI drone. This is like a concept video, but just doing a demonstration of what can be done with these. So according to this guy, this has 3 grams in it of explosive. It doesn't have a bullet in it, no kind of projectile. It's literally just a shape charge, as you're about to hear him say. And this is precisely what I feel like was in that microphone. Let me hit play here. It's amazing how many people have not seen this.
Inside here is 3 grams of shaped explosive. This is how it works. Did you see that? That little bang is enough to penetrate the skull and destroy the contents.
What about that? I love showing that to people. It's amazing how many people have not seen that. We're going to watch that one more time.
is 3 grams of shaped explosive. This is how it works. Did you see that? That little bang is enough to penetrate the skull and destroy the contents.
Tell me that could not have been in that microphone and could not have easily been passed off as a gunshot. I mean, it would have been too easy. That's exactly what that is meant to do, is to mimic a gunshot. I mean, it sounded and looked just like a gunshot. You see a tiny, teeny little flash, and you heard the pop. And, you know, several people that day that were up closer to the stage said that it didn't sound like a big rifle, that it sounded more like a firecracker. And I believe that those people that heard that or claimed that it sounded like a firecracker were actually hearing the explosive itself in the microphone. Now, that's not to say that there wasn't a sonic, event of some type. And John Bray goes into all that also in his theory. But, I wanted to go over this one more time. Don't know how many. Honestly, I haven't seen anybody doing much on this lately. And when I heard that stupid take from him on this about how ridiculous it is, and one of these days I really, really want to get on there with him. Somehow or another, one of these videos of mine got in front of him, and he left a comment on the video, and he told me that I was more than welcome to come on his channel anytime so we could talk about this stuff here, debate this stuff. And I told him I'd be more than happy to. And he commented again, told me I could. And then I again told him, yes, I'd love to. And now he's kind of seems to be ghosting me. I can't get a hold of him. So I don't know. Anybody that sees this video, if you ever pop up in his chat, remind him, say, hey, Adam Thomas Podcast. You told him he could come on. Because I'd love to see what he had to say about this. So, all right, we've been on here less than an hour. I didn't want to go very long. I wanted to do a quick rundown on that real quick since he's back after the microphone theory. And again, whenever they are trying to debunk you, especially when they try as hard as they have been, that you're over the target. So. Anyway, something else, John Bray did say that he would come on the show, hopefully very soon. He was waiting to get some testing done that he was working on, said that when he came on that he wanted to be able to break news. So hopefully, we'll be able to get him on here soon and he can tell us something really cool. So I got faith in him. All righty. Well, I'm going to get off here. I plan on going live again tomorrow. It'll probably be later tomorrow, but I do plan on going live tomorrow. So I am going to get off here. I appreciate everybody that watches. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you know when I'm live. And share. A small channel like this, YouTube really doesn't help push them out. So I need everybody that watches to help push them out. All right. Well, I tell you what, it was fun, but I'm going to duck out of here, and I will see y'all guys next time.